Howdy my friends and welcome to the channel today. I'm Luke, Thunderhead289 here on YouTube, and today I'm going to give up some info that I've held on and not really released to the public here. If you own a carb cheater, I'm going to show you how to take the training wheels off of that bad boy and unlock some hidden capability. So with that, today, let's jump in. I think I'll use my 64 Galaxy here today as our example. I've just really enjoyed driving this car ever since I just about sold the thing, actually, and then, got it back on the road and put the carb cheater on it, and it's just been a pleasure to drive ever since. Kind of feel bad for the Maverick over there, but it's just such a classy looking car, and everyone looks at that, and people look at that, but different look I get there. But Carb Cheater works by trimming air-fuel ratio with a dynamic controlled air valve that's all automatic, looks at a lot of engine telemetry and such, and then it bypasses air to keep air-fuel ratio optimized at all times. And it's dramatically increased the fuel economy of the 64 Galaxy here, but also it's just translated to a much cleaner running engine when everything is optimized all the time. Remember, a carburetor is a static metering device in a dynamic environment, and so Carb Cheater gives it the ability to be a dynamic metering device in that dynamic environment. But one of the pieces to it are these spacers that we use for a myriad of different vehicles, and you can go through. We have quite a few of them, but one of the choke points or how I've throttled this for people so they can't do anything too crazy is I have intentionally undersized the holes in the porting on the spacer itself. So today I'll show you how to drill these out bigger, what size you should drill them out to, and then we'll go for a little drive and you'll see the difference. All right, so getting more out of this bad boy, and you might ask, why didn't you just do this from the beginning? Which is a fair question, and I have two reasons. One, I just didn't know what people would try and do with these things, okay? Product development and whatever, you just don't know what people are going to do. And I've been pleasantly surprised no one has done anything too insane. They've used it well and folks really seem to like it. Now, the second reason is because of the first reason. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give everyone the capabilities that I've given them with Carb Cheater 2.0, but I released a lot of those that are now user settings that you, the user, can manipulate, and that makes it so this thing that we're going to do right here, you can get away with a whole lot more. And I'll show you how to do it here. And this plays out big for big displacement engines. So if you're one of those folks, you're going to want to pay attention. Now to the fellow that's used tools before at any point in his life, this will be a relatively simple and easy modification to make to your spacer. And frankly, I'm amazed no one has ever done this yet, at least as far as I know, other than myself, of course. Now, all you need is a drill. If you don't have a drill, well, you're probably in the wrong hobby. And then some 1/4-inch drill bits. Now you'll notice on the spacer, these are the ports that we're going to be drilling out. Now we have to be mindful that these drill at an angle, but there is a nice pocket that our drill bit will fall into. So it's really easy to do this because you know exactly the depth that you need to go. Now you might wonder, again, why I didn't do this before, but it's easier to drill a bigger hole than it is to make a bigger hole small. So you can start with 1/4-inch and you can step up as you need. 1/4-inch is going to be just fine for a 352 FE. So with that, let's get the drill bits chucked up and put some holes in this thing. Now I know all you guys know how to use a drill, but you're going to want to bear with me here because you got to be kind of particular about this or you can, screw some stuff up. So patience goes a long way. That you're going to take your drill bit and you're just going to barely chuck it up. You're not moving a whole bunch of material and you need that extra length there, that's what she said, to make sure that you drill this hole out correctly. Oh, is this going to be a bunch of innuendos? I hope not. So you don't have to do anything fancy here. I'm going to do this right on my lap. You already have a pilot hole. It's really easy. You just want to make sure you get the angle correct. So it comes in at a 45-degree angle, and generally I just kind of use my thumb here, and that gets the angle pretty accurate. So we're going to go in at a 45, which is, kind of half on either side of the hole here. The drill is splitting the distance. So use our thumb and simply walk it in. And there it went right into the cavity. Give it a little spin, and you're done. pull out the chips, do the other side, and what do you know? Now you have a spacer that flows a heck of a lot more air. Simple. So I'll walk through this one more time just from a different angle in case you didn't catch it the first time here. So carb cheater spacer, this is how it would be in the car. You can tell which way is up because they have words on them, okay? So you're gonna take it, you're gonna flip it over. Now, I want you to put on an install your valve on the front of your carb cheater spacer, but wherever your valve is hooked up, this is all you need to drill. Technically, you don't need to drill all of them because the back is just the map sensor. So this being the front, again, we took our drill bit and we came in from the bottom of the spacer, going in, drilling down, and it'll fall into a pocket or a cavity, and that's when you know you've gone all the way. And when I machined it at a 45 through the center of the hole, so you can eyeball that, and since you already have a pilot hole, it's going to drill or draw your drill bit right into where it needs to go. So super easy, do both sides, blow out the chips, and you're ready for reinstallation. So that's one half of this process. I got the spacer all installed here, and the 64 Galaxy is fired up and running. So the other half is in the settings here. So there's a lot of settings to talk about, but I'll give you the abbreviated version. Of course, there's your idle AFR target, your cruise AFR target, your idle adjustment limit. So this is getting into where I'm allowing you guys to do much more than I did in the past. You can control how much you allow carb cheater to adjust at idle. So that's something to play with there. Same with cruise. You got your choke time there, your target, idle, RPM. Okay. So here are the other two items that can make really good use of this. And I'll go through how to get these if you have a Carb Cheater 2.0 that doesn't have these settings. So there's your idle adjustment rate and then your cruise adjustment rate. So these are big additions. You'll notice that a lot of you guys, it says 18 out of 18, but this has 20 settings here. Now giving you guys, the users, the ability to make changes to your adjustment rate. Effectively, your adjustment delta is no small item here, but luckily I've noticed that all the folks that buy a Carb Cheater and use Carb Cheater are, thank goodness, smart people. This isn't a product for stupid people, and I think it's a stupid person deterrent. So, you know, that's been really nice. We've built a nice community of, you know, pretty decent folks. But all of that aside, great power comes great responsibility, of course. Now, if you see it start chasing itself, you know, you've gone too far. You need to pull that adjustment delta back. But giving you those capabilities allows you to take Carb Cheater, a pretty universal product, and dial it in exceptionally well for whatever vehicle or engine that you're attaching it to. So now, if you don't have these settings, I'll show you really quick how to go onto our website and download the updates, because that's a big piece of 2.0 is that as I program in updates, you guys can actually go and download them, which pretty darn convenient. So if you have a Carb Cheater 2.0, this is how you go ahead and update it. So I've removed the circuit board from the box itself and from the vehicle. It has a normal micro USB plug-in, and then the screen is the exact same way. So we'll start with the screen. We'll type in thecarbcheater.com. That's our website here. It brings up the website. Go to install info. And so you have update Carb Cheater brain box and update Carb Cheater display. You can kind of see them there. So we'll go to update Carb Cheater display. And so now we'll plug in this bad boy, which I could have done at any point in time there. But you can see all the different updates here, but update 1.5 is where we're at, and there's some descriptions of what they do. And so this one needs to be paired with the update we're going to do on the circuit board. So we're going to go to connect. We're going to pick our serial port, which, hello, there we go. We know how to click on a mouse. We're just going to hit connect. So it's going to find the Carb Cheater display, which it did. And we're going to go to install, ask us if it wants to steal all of our information. We're like, heck yeah. No, it's just a little confirmation there. Your screen will go black, and then it'll start its updating process, which does take a second because it's like 40,000 lines of code behind that thing. And I'm not kidding when I say there's tons and tons of lines of code behind this thing to make it do what it does. And oh, look, our update's done. Now, once the update on your display is complete, you get a nice little installation complete window. You hit next, and then you close out of this, and you're good to go. At this point, we'll unhook our display, and we'll take our circuit board here. And it's important to note, wrong. Okay, this is how USBs are, isn't it? There we go. I'm sure everyone can relate to that, but on the circuit board, just make sure you don't take it and set it on a bare metal surface. But, you know, painted surface, that's totally fine. So once you have that plugged in here, we're going to go back to installation info, and remember, update Carb Cheater Brain Box. And so version 1.2 is what we want, and it's the same process. We're going to click our COM port up here, and if you don't have the COM port, it kind of has a little written thing. If you have an ancient computer, you might need to follow that, but most people, it'll just be like clockwork here. You hit connect. It's going to pop up the same questions. So do you want to erase this device? Blah, blah, blah. No, we're not going to click that. We're going to hit next. That'll maintain our settings. And so now we're going to hit install, and we're going to do the same thing. Side note again, what feels like a million lines of code, you know, it takes it a second to download. So just be patient, you know, resist the temptation to unplug it. If you do, then, you know, you're not going to damage anything, but just why would you do it? And finally, once you see this little screen, installation complete, you can go ahead and unplug your Carb Cheater board, reassemble it, and then plug it back into your car, and you're good to go. Well, all right, my friends, 20-30 minutes there, drilling your spacer and updating the programs on your display and your Carb Cheater itself, and you have some extra capability that you can get out of your Carb Cheater. Now, if you bought a Carb Cheater already after the point of making this video, you're already going to have the most updated stuff, but keep your eye out because, as you can see, as the folks who already have one, I make updates as we move along, and those updates are available to you for Carb Cheater 2.0, as I've done my darndest to future-proof the thing. And so as I improve it or add things to it, more importantly, those options are available to you. So with that, my friends, if you've never checked out the website, go ahead and check that out. But I hope this was helpful, and happy modifying, and enjoy the extra capability that you can get out of your Carb Cheater.